calls out Friday nights with Chrissy Fraley. God, I knew they were going to be wild. So Chrissy, usually just kind of so Chrissy is a member of my TikTok platform. She is actually a very core feral, we call them. She's there almost all the time, just every day for sure, at least a couple of the meetings. She helps out when things get chaotic. Like yesterday, I had some things to do, and 3 or 4 people from the platform really jumped in, stepped up. They did the whole meet. I even there was a couple times where I could have chimed in, and I just kind of sat back and watched you guys. It was really, guys did really good stuff. I love it. I love that we're a community and not it's not all about me and my I don't know, that's how I feel. You guys still look forward. Some people look forward to that meeting, and they come there to share and get things off their chest and all the things. So even though I couldn't physically be a part of it, I still wanted you guys to have that space. And there's other people that are, you guys were plenty capable of running the meeting by yourself. So I really love that we do that. That's really, I don't know, I like that. So what we usually do is you just start telling your story, wherever it starts for you. If it starts childhood addiction, wherever, I'm going to take notes. I'll ask questions as we go. And then at the end, I'll go back and ask questions when you're done. Oh, excuse me.
Sounds great. Okay, first off, hi, I'm Crissy, recovering addict. I have been sober this time since August 27th of 2022, giving me right over 3.5 years. Woohoo. Okay, let's start my story. I was born, my mom was a single mother, and we lived alone for my first 3 years. It was just me and her. I went to bed when she did, and I was always with her. Well, then she met this guy, and here we go. I'm gonna cry. He ended up being my stepfather, but everything changed. I had a bedtime, and I had to go to bed alone, and I remember that scaring me. Even now, I'm still scared of the dark because of that, which is crazy, but you know. So that happened, and my life changed. When I was 5, they ended up. My mom, when I was 4, she got pregnant. They had a set of twins, and my brothers. Hang on just a second. My mom came in. I'm crying. I'm telling my story, mother.
You had twin brothers. That's really cool.
Yeah. You want to tell my story? No. But when they were younger, my dad had never been a dad, so he didn't know how to bother me, and he was really, really rough on me because we never formed that bond, because I was older when we met, and but he had it with my brothers, and I wasn't allowed to play with my brothers or be around my brothers. I got hit a lot because my brothers would lie and say that I was being mean or stealing their stuff or hitting them. So I got beat on a lot for that. My parents ended up finding out, years later that they did that. But, by that point, it was sorry, it was too late. Um, and I was scarred for life. I always felt like there's a family over here, my mom and dad and brothers, and there's a family over here with just me and my mom. Now, even though I was treated like that and went through all that crap, I was also spoiled. I got everything I wanted, everything. Like anything I wanted to do, I was in Girl Scouts, clogging, ballet, gymnastics, baseball, just all the stuff. I was always busy, and I think that was just my mom trying to make up for what I didn't have. Okay, so that brings me up to my brothers were born. I started clogging. That was a big outlet for me. I was a professional dancer. We went to Dollywood, um, different festivals. I danced for the first President Bush. We went to oh Grand Ole Opry, just all kinds of things. That was my life. But that ended. I was a bigger girl. I wasn't huge. I was just a little overweight. And, I didn't like that anymore because we had to wear the frilly dresses. So I quit, probably around 13. Then by the age of 50, my parents were bikers. Oh, I forgot to say. My parents were really true bikers. My dad was in a biker club my whole life, so every Wednesday, we went to the clubhouse and they had meetings, and just like you see on, Sons of Anarchy, I lived that. They didn't run guns and drugs. I mean, some of them did on the side, but I was not in a 1%. They weren't in a 1% group. A 1% group is all for the club and 1% for yourself. We were in 100%. It was like, they did Toys for Tots and, good stuff for the community. That's how I was raised. I had probably 40 dads because no matter where I went, I was safe and I had all these men that protected me. I went to the Easy Rider Rodeo. I seen naked people my whole life. My mom danced on bars, just different, all the stuffs I've seen. Like I've seen people having sex on stage, and this is all at a young age. But I was allowed to go because I wasn't a boy. I wasn't, oh, boobies, boobies, So I learned very young to be seen and not heard, and I could do a lot more. So okay, there's that part. Um, when I was 14 or 15, it was fine to drink, so I started binge drinking on the weekends. I got really promiscuous because I was still looking for that love that I didn't have. And I bored. I can't even tell you how many people I had sex with in high school. Um, like an idiot. Then I was binge drinking and all that. When I turned 19, I had met this girl. She was 15, and we became friends because she liked to be around me. So so be it. So I went to her house to spend the night, and her uncle had all his friends over, and I ended up getting with my kid's dad that night. First time I ever laid eyes on him, he had 2 spoons crushed in a Percocet. I was like, "What is that?" He's like, "Wait a minute, I'll show you." So he had an OC40. That's the first thing I ever did. Woo! From that night, it was on. We did pills for, we ended up getting pregnant. I did pills after the first trimester. My first kid, my hips were out of socket. My hips were bad from dancing. And the doctor has given me like 280 Percocets a month. And after the first trimester, he said the baby's already formed. It's just growing bigger, so the pills wouldn't hurt it. So what did I hear? Pills won't hurt the baby. So I did them all the time. Stop. My cat's getting ready to attack the other one. So, I was doing all the pills and all the stuff, and can't remember exactly when. It's after we had kids. Mm, yeah, after the second one. 'Cause, I was so when I had my daughter, I wasn't as much of an addict, and when I went in to have her, I went into labor and started progressing so fast and everything. We got to the hospital and the dad wanted to, well, the doctor, I went into labor at my doctor's appointment, and the doctor's like, "Can you drive fast, or do you want me to call squad?" Him being a guy is like, "I can drive fast." So we get in the car, and instead of going towards the hospital, he's going the other way. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He said, "I've got to go get me something. I'm sick, blah, blah, blah." I started throwing a fit because I'm puking all over the car. I had my shirt off puking. He's trying to pull over. I threw the door into the guardrail. He ended up giving me his shirt. Into that fight, we ended up going to the hospital. We walk in there, I puked all over his shirt that's on me, skin tight, and he don't have a shirt on. So he's like, "Listen, I'm gonna go take a shower and I'll be back." I knew he was lying. I knew where he was going. He didn't come back. His mom, everyone was mad. I kept trying to hold it, trying to hold her, trying to hold him. They said, "We can't hold her no more." And I said, "Screw him, he's not here." So, I had her, they put her in the warmer, and that's when he came in. So he missed all of it. Um, that was a bad fight, but I told everyone that day that he was off getting drugs instead of having his kid. And that really hurt, but did I leave him? No, because that was my kid's dad, and I needed him. Then with my second kid, my addiction had progressed, and the night I had him, I had so many oxycontins in my body, I don't even remember going in because with my daughter, I had the intrathecal. and that wore off because I was waiting on her dad. So I felt the episiotomy and everything. So when I went in with him, I'm like, I want all this stuff. I don't want to feel it. And it really sucks because I can remember everything about her, but I can't remember
Hold
him.
on, see, I just
Because,
want to make sure that my
oh,
notes are right. So the birth where you went in labor at the hospital and all of that happened, that was your first child, and then
yeah,
this, and okay, all right, just want to make sure.
yeah. The
All right,
second one, I went into labor at a friend's house where we were doing drugs. And my mom called me earlier and said, "Are you having the baby?" And I said, "Well, no." And well, I went out and peed because they didn't have, it's a trap house. I peed in the yard. And I'd wipe and I couldn't get what? I couldn't get dry myself. And I'm like, what is happening? So I went to the hospital and yeah, I'm in labor. I call my mom. She's at the bar drunk, so she can't come. She said, "This is why I asked earlier because I wanted to go out because my parents used to go out and drink every weekend religiously." So my mom wasn't at the hospital when I had my second one, just his mom and him, which I was glad he was there, but I hated his mom. I hated his mom to the fact that she said, if you name, I couldn't decide between Dominic and Alexander. She said, if you name that kid Alexander, I'll never talk to you. Or if you name him Dominic, I'll never talk to you again. So, of course, I named him Dominic. I know, I'm a horrible person. Okay, so I have my kids now, and we're in addiction, and we have our own house and everything because he worked really well. Well, up until the point that my second one was born, and he quit real quick.
happened when you said you had a bunch of pills in your system when the second baby was born? Would you were prescribed medication, so there was no like
Yeah,
CPS? Okay, just making sure.
what they did, they didn't do that back then. They didn't
Oh,
drug
that's right.
test you. They didn't. Yeah, this was before. So yeah, I never got my kids taken away and put in a safe place. I drugged them through addiction. Um, yeah, horrible places that they shouldn't be. That I definitely had them. Um, okay, yeah, I would like leave them asleep in the car. This is the first time I ever was introduced to intravenous. Our friend of ours had a haircutting shop, and the kids' dad was supposed to be going in and getting a haircut. And I was in the car with the kids, and they fell asleep. I was sitting there, and he's like, "Come in here real quick." And I went to the bathroom and like here, and my Kevin, my baby's dad, held me down, and Lyle, the other guy, shot me up for the first time. Which I was freaking out. I was screaming. He kept saying, "You'll want this. You'll want this." And it was a fight, but he forced me, and I loved it. So
Sorry, that's
there
I
went
know,
that.
but that's so fucking traumatic. Like, and I can see like after, like how scary that would be. Like someone coming at you with a, gonna, and then like and then when you do it, like the relief from that and taking away all that instant panic, like that panic and stuff instantly. Like I can see, I feel like in my mind that would make you get addicted way quicker than, I mean, even if you have an addict mind, you're going to anyways. But like, that's fucking so scary.
Yeah, because yeah, I already had the addict mentality, and then yeah, it took it. I was perfect after that shot. So yeah, I ran with it, man. If it wasn't soluble, I didn't want it. Like, and it was this point, if I wasn't puking, I wasn't high. I loved to puke because when you do all those pills, it makes you sick and you puke. So that's really weird, right?
Talking,
Um,
I was talking the other day about it. Like, we used to call it. We used to try to get. We called it mouth open high, where you would be like, and that was what I
yep.
wanted to be. If I couldn't do that, if I wasn't there, then I didn't want no part of it. And oh,
Yeah, I wanted to drape, hang like the drapes. That's what we called it. Yeah, I missed my mom knew I was on drugs, and I missed a lot with my kids. And he kind of enabled me, but it was a lot of tough love, and I stole from her, lied to her, and all this stuff. Okay, so January 22nd, 2007, I had to go to. I was working. I was working at KFC. It was probably 3 blocks from my house, and I didn't. My car was broke down at the time, so my mom had to come pick me up and take me to work. My kids wanted gumballs because they know there's a gumball machine in there. So my mom was taking me to work and coming right back with gumballs for the kids. So she dropped me off at work and walks in the back door, and here is the father of my children on top of our daughter, choking her to death. So my mom freaked out, grabbed my daughter, left my son. She still says, I don't know why I left him. But she grabbed her and went straight to the police station. So the police or my mom shows up at my work and she's talking to my boss. And I'm like, what is going on? Like what? And my mom told me. I tried to get away from her and run. I was going to run after him, kill him. She wrapped her hand up in the back of my shirt, and I went like this, and I articulated my ribs. They popped out of my chest plate. I was trying so hard to go after him. Um, so he went to jail for a little bit and got out. The CPS workers didn't go to court. I wasn't called to court. No one was called to court. It was kicked out because the fingerprints didn't show up in the picture, even though, like the dispatcher, a bunch of sheriffs, a bunch of cops, all these people saw him in person, but not one of them was called to court. So it was thrown out. So basically, my daughter was failed. So he gets out of jail and comes to me, comes to the house. Um, he was like, hug me and see if what you feel. And I said, I don't have to hug you. From over here, I feel disgust and I can't be with you. Well, it turned into a big fight with his mom. Like, I can't believe you would do that and this and that. I said, honey, if you ever walk in and I'm hurting my kid, please call the cops, put me in jail. Because obviously I'm not protecting my kid and I'm the parent. It needs to be done. I said, this was nothing about your son. This was about my daughter. And, you know, he went to jail. He got over it. So even though all of this, I never had my dad. I never met my real dad. So I just wanted him to be a dad, and he knew how important that was to me. But he would come in and out of their lives. Well, let me go back. '07. After me and him broke up, I ended up dating this guy that I worked with. We ended up getting married and all this stuff, but that was dumb. Um, my kids' dad got with my husband's ex-wife and put us through hell because they were still in active use. I mean, I would wait. They'd start texting. I turn my cell phone off and wake up with like 800 missed texts from these people
Who was it?
because
Tell me again.
um,
Who got together?
my kids, my kids' dad and my husband's ex-wife.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, they got together after us, and it was horrible because he had a son with her, and I had to come to my house and blah blah blah. And they started rumors that I burned him with cigarettes and I pushed him down the stairs and I pulled him around by his hair. He was 2 years old. If he'd went there was no marks, you know. His hair was real short, it was high and tight, so you can't point. I mean, it was just all unfounded. It was just them putting me through hell. So, eventually, I just stopped him from coming into their lives because they would be fine in school, and then he'd come, and then they'd have red there was a red, yellow, green. Green's good, red's bad. They would get red days, so, um, I just stopped trying to get a hold of him because it was never him, it was me. And, you know, it hurt me, but I raised my kids. You know, I married this but the guy that I ended up married, I called their dad, and I'm like, "I'm marrying Dana," and he's like, "I don't care," and I just basically did it as a big "fuck you." Our marriage don't well, we're still married, but I haven't seen him since '09. Like, I think we're still married. But, yeah, that ended in '09. Yeah. And then well, see, I didn't do drugs. February 22nd, I got sober because I thought either he was withdrawing and he did it or he was high and did it because supposedly we were sober at the time. So, you know, I just got sober that time. Then, well, after my husband left that summer, I drank all summer. And then I was sober for a few more years, you know, living life with my kids and stuff. Um, and then their dad came back into the picture. Um, I decided to we were moving in together and would co-parent together. We weren't together. We were just being parents, but he accused me of shooting up, all this stuff. So I left. I couldn't do it. I left everything and come to my mom's. And he kept accusing me of there's this guy um on the corner. His uncle lived there and he was over there all the time. And I was on the phone with him one night my kid's dad and my uncle had seizure or strokes and asked this boy's name. And I told him, and I call him a boy because he was 10 years and 10 days younger than me. But so I got Kevin heard it and he's like, "You sleeping with him?" Blah, blah, blah. No, I'm sleeping on my mom's floor with our son. But he kept on and on to the point I called this Jared's his name. I called him or I texted him. I said, "You want to fuck?" He's like, "Oh my God, what?" I'm like, "I keep getting accused of it. Let's just go to your house and party." So he come and got me. And that was that was not great. That night I ended up finding out that he was on heroin. He didn't intravenous, but he smoked it. And, I was on Suboxone at that time. I was selling them, only taking one every once in a while and so I had the money. After 2 years of, spending all my money buying his drugs and everything, I relapsed. I relapsed big. Um, and this guy let me get a drink. Mm. This guy was amazing for about 2 years, the best. And then when I started getting high, he became mean, very, very mean. He would, where he was just building his house, he just got his house and nothing was in it when I first came there, and he bought a bed in the house, and everything was just in the bedroom. It was furnished, and we had a refrigerator. Or no, he didn't have a refrigerator at that time. No. So, he would get mad at me after I got re-addicted, he would get mad at me and lock me out of the bedroom for days, and I'd just be in the rest of the house, like, chilling. Like, nothing to eat, nothing to drink, no cigarettes, no drugs, nothing. Going through hell. And, I thought he was testing me to see if I really love him or not. So, I'm like, I can do this. So I did, like an idiot, and it became worse. He would break my fingers um, just because he knew he'd get away with it. One time he went after me in the front yard. He was trying to grab me, and the neighbors called the cops. And I told him, I was like, I lied and said, I thought he was gonna go after me because my ex was abusive, and I ran and started screaming, and he was just trying to talk to me. I talked it all down so he didn't go to jail. My parents were there, his parents were there, the cops, and, I got them all to and he kept screaming, I'm like, "Just calm down," and then all I wanted him to do was leave so we could get high. So, I got him through that, and it became worse. He had a dog cage that he would keep me in. He would lock me inside of it, and, he would withhold everything from me, and if I wasn't good, he used to, he used to shock me with a taser all the time because he thought it was funny. Anyway, so I'm addicted, I'm going through all this stuff, I went to the chiropractor because my back was hurting, and he cracked it. 2 days later, it started hurting so bad, like my neck and my back, bottom back, and, for about well, I went to the hospital, they said I was drug seeking, so I just thought, "Yeah." So I got fentanyl, that's what helped me. For I guess, ended up I went on vacation with my family to, Tennessee when with all this cane going on, we were in Margaritaville eating a pizza, and I was like, "You just gotta take me to my room. I can't do this." Well, see, when we first got there, my daughter thought she saw a needle with me, and I had purposely detoxed myself so I could go and not have that stuff with me. So, soon as we got there, she thought she saw one, and she freaked out, and I'm like, "He still swears to God." And I didn't have any, but, they took me home, took me back to my hotel, and my mom gave me a half of a Klonopin and a half of a muscle relaxer. I was hurting so bad. I wake up the next morning, and I get out of my bed, and I stand up, and I fall. I'm like, "I'm still high off this muscle relaxer." So I stand up again and start walking towards the sink because it's outside of the bathroom, and I fall again, and I can't get up. And I'm like, "Oh my God," like, I'm freaking, and my daughter's not in the room. She was downstairs the floor at my parents' room. So I sat there for probably 2 hours till my daughter come up, and I'm like, "You gotta get Cammy because I don't know, my legs don't work." My arms weren't working either. Like, I could use them, I could sling them, but I couldn't, like, touch my face or anything. I could not work them. They were just like jello arms and legs. So they ended up we were leaving the next day, so I ended up staying in my mom and dad's hotel room. I was jerking, my body was jerking, and I had to have one of my brothers sit on either side of me so I wouldn't fall off the bed. So they had to babysit me while we're on vacation. We ended up coming home. Oh, I was in so much pain. I was so bad. My daughter my daughter was being so mean to me because she thought I was on drugs, and I asked her, I said, "Why are you being so mean to me?" And she said, "Why are you still alive?" That's the worst thing I ever went through. Did it get me sober? No. I came back from the vacation, I was in so much pain and I needed the fentanyl to help me. The night I got back from Tennessee, they took me down to the hospital, arms and legs not working, and they still said that I was drug seeking. So I told my dad, I'm like, "Fuck it, if I'm drug seeking, get me into rehab because I can't live like this." So he started calling rehabs. He got a hold of a place called St. Lucy's, and, they asked if I was susceptible to, um, abscesses,
I
and I
went
told him, "Yeah," 'cause
to Lucy's. Brown County Jail, like for the longest time, wouldn't send anybody to St. Lucy's because I was their very first person, and I stood there in court, and the judge was like, "This because it's not lockdown, you know what I mean?" And they're like, I'd been in jail for a week, so they didn't take me to the big house. They moved me into one of the duplexes, and I freaking about 3 days I dipped out, and they would not send anybody else back there because I piece of shit.
Yep, because you were an escapee.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
but I didn't end up oh, you're fine. I'd heard that in your story. I heard you talk about St. Lucie, so that's but, so he asked them if or they asked him if I was susceptible, and he said, "Yes." Well, he confounded me because he didn't know, and he said I said, "Yes." They said, "Get her down here to Southern Ohio Medical Center now." And, they rushed me down there, and I got a MRI or a CAT scan with contrast, I don't know which, but they said, "You have an abscess on your spinal cord, and you are going to Columbus for immediate decompression surgery." I panicked. I also had an abscess behind your thoracic muscle, which is in your stomach on the bottom of your back. That's why the bottom was hurting so bad. That one was the size of both of my fists. So I get transferred from Portsmouth to Columbus. The whole time I have to pee, and I've told them I've not peed today, like, I've gotta pee. So they had me on a bedpan from Portsmouth to Columbus, and I still couldn't pee. So we get there, and I tell them, and they get a it takes 5 kits because, um oh, part of my story, I forgot all about it. When I was 15, I was raped by, 8 guys and a beer bottle, and then the, lid on the beer bottle messed me up, so I had to have surgery. So, down there is a little different. So it took them 5 kits to get a catheter in me, and, I they s my bladder was so full, they'd never seen so much come out. So, yeah, I went up there for the night. The next morning, I had decompression surgery. They put, hardware in me and all this, and, I was in the hospital. I did pretty good. You know, I told them I was on drugs, and they took me through the Suboxone, and then after surgery, I was on ketamine. A watered down ketamine is, something new, like a microdosing, something new that they're using, and I loved it. Like, I didn't feel high, I didn't feel pain, I just felt like I do now, like normal. But it's really bad for your body. I have scars where, it eats your veins in your skin, and, the IV laying on my arm, the stuff touch like, the little water that comes out, it ate holes in my skin. So, I don't understand how people that's their DOC 'cause but anyway, I got out of the hospital for that well, got out of the hospital oh, I missed the whole surgery. A whole thing I missed. When I was at my ex's house, we'll call it Jared's house, first, I was sick, I had a cold, I get better, then I get worse, then I get better and get worse. My mom and daughter stopped by one day to bring me some Ensure to try to, get me feeling better. And my daughter said, "You don't even look like my mom anymore." And I posted in my story. You can see a picture of how bad I looked. So I went to the well, I didn't go to the hospital that day. I waited. The next day, he would get so high, pass out, just like face down on the floor. You couldn't pick him up, nut. But he was in between the toilet and the wall, and I had to call 911. I had to go. I thought I was dying. So I call him and I crawl out front and sit and wait on him because I didn't want him in the house to find him. And I ended up having endocarditis. They got me over to the emergency room. Took 2.5 hours to get a main line in my chest. They wanted to lifelike me because my liver enzymes were off the chart. Everything shutting down and septic. But luckily, I say luckily, I've never been in a plane and I was scared. This guy come in having a stroke,
Real
and they
quick,
sent him in the plane.
I just want to
Okay,
ask: is the hold on? So the surgery where you like from when St. Lucy's like said you're going surgery, whatever, is that
yeah,
this
that
is
was
the
after.
after
Yeah,
the surgery is after or what?
yeah, the surgery is after the heart stuff I'm going through now.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
Yeah, I forgot all about it. Um, so I pass out there in the emergency room, whatever, and I wake up intubated in the ICU. So they extubated me, and I stayed in the ICU for about a week. That's when they got me out of bed and let me touch water for the first time. That was great. That ended up becoming my higher power. Um, but yeah, I got through all of that, made it. I don't know how. My grandma said, "I'm so proud of you for fighting," and I was so confused because I was just sleeping. But I ended up having to be on IV antibiotics for 9 weeks. So after getting out of the hospital, then I had to go to a nursing home, and it was this real crappy, trashy nursing home in Chillicothe, in bad area, and I didn't want to be there. So I ended up my liver started swelling, so they took me to the hospital in Chillicothe. Well, they ended up I had to end up back in Riverside because my liver was full of sludge and my something else real bad. I can't remember, but they finished up my meds there, and I left from there. Then a year later, that's when the ab test happened. So I went through that surgery, didn't quit using. Well, as soon as I got out, I started using again. I was living at the crap. It got to the point where if I sneezed, you could hear people sitting beside me can hear my neck go ah 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 ah, and my hardware had failed. So I had to go. Well, oh, I forgot. After I had the first surgery, I had to learn how to walk and write and do everything again with my arms and legs. So my hardware failed, and I had to go in for another surgery. This one was I was on the table for over 12 hours. They went in through my neck right here, and then I have a scar all the way down the top half of my back. They kept flipping me like a hamburger to get the hardware in the front and the back. So I'm still an addict at this time. I have the plug has to come to Columbus to pop anything. So I'm in the hospital so long. I'm like, bring me an outfit. And she would put the fentanyl in the pocket, and I was doing didn't use my arms or my hands very well, but I was snorting that stuff. And got out of the hospital. I still couldn't use my arms and hands right. And I started. My brother smoked speed, and I knew that, and I was like, if I get some speed, he'll help me smoke it. So I did, and then he'd say, "Mom, Chrissy had speed," and tell on me. I'd never know he was telling on me, but he never told on himself. So I ended up after I come when I come home from the second surgery, I was here. It was a snowstorm, and I threw a fit. I needed out of there because I was detoxing, and I was at my mom's house for probably 10 minutes when I snuck out in the snowstorm. Had the plug come pick me up. The neck brace, fucking bruises all over me from being in the hospital for 2 months. And went to her house and got high and stayed on the fentanyl for God, how long did I stay at her house? Uh, month. Then I ended up coming home. And I was still well at my mom's. I was still using. I was tired of being here, so I went up to my grandma's because a guy I knew lived one hill over, and I could walk to his house and get speed. my plan was to get on the speed so I could get off the other stuff. So that's what I did. I did about a year of, well, no, yeah, probably a year altogether of coming off the fentanyl and using the speed. And then I just got tired of it. And this guy, he went around telling everyone that I was having sex with him and all this stuff for drugs, and I wasn't. And that really pissed me off because everyone that knew me knew I didn't do that. I just, I haven't mentioned my jobs, but I worked for the Jackson County Board of MRDD with people, children and adults with developmental disabilities. I'm stumbling, but, I had a career, and instead of going to work, I went into drugs, so I lost my career. But then after that, we had, like, little pissy jobs, and then, when I wasn't working, I would lie and say I cleaned house so I could get that EIC for my kids every year. That was horrible. Of course, I was good about when I got my income tax money, I always I bought a refrigerator, a washer, a dryer, furniture. I always did good. And my kids, they had everything they wanted because a lot of the time I was selling, so I was making really good money. My kids always lived with me until me and the dad got back together. And then when I separated, my son wanted to live with him. So he took me to court, and I'm like, this has nothing to do with me or you. As long as you're sober, my son wants to know his dad, I'm going to okay it. So I went and let him go live with his dad. And then my daughter was down here at my mom's with me, and she just stayed here when I went to Jared's. So, yeah, all this, the heart thing, the 2 surgeries, I'm still with Jared. He's still abusive. It's still crap. And it was about the end. Oh my God, I'm twisting my hair. Sorry, I'm twisting my hair. Um, so at the end, we'd moved across town behind McDonald's. And, that's the park was across the street where everybody stayed that was homeless, so, me and him ended up getting in a fight, and I'm like, "Fuck it, I'm going to the street." So, that whole summer, I lived on the streets doing drugs, running, doing all this stuff, and then that's when I went to my grandma's. That was right before I went to my grandma's, and then that guy did all that lying, and I got sober. I was sober for about a week, and he was in rehab, and didn't believe I was sober, so I was like, "Fuck it, I'll come to rehab with you." So I went, and this place was a mm, our house got flipped 5 times in a week for drugs. And I'm like, "I can't do this." So I ended up calling TCC, which is also St. I'm doing be quiet, please, which is St. Lucy's now too. It all kind of melded into one. So I put myself in a program. I was there probably about a year and a half, going through probably about a year. And then me and my best friend drank Blue Rise, which is just an over the counter energy drink. Well, they wanted to send us back to inpatient over this. 'Cause, I got to tell, we ended up in the hospital because we drank way more than we should have. And this beats between my heart were spread out so far, they thought I was dying. So they wanted to send us back to out or inpatient. I said, okay, well, just talk numbers. And I hope they're right because I'm not still, well, they weren't right. They wanted me to go for another 90 days. So I came home because, I'm just there because I want to be. And I had a boyfriend at the time, Rob. We got together in treatment, and he really wanted me to come back and do it, so he ended up getting in Serenity Now, which is another treatment center. They have, like, 50 of them in Portsmouth. So, I ended up going through this treatment center, and this one was way better. Like, the first one was a business, and the second one was like a family. So, I went through that, and it really stuck, like, it really taught me how to stay sober. So I went all through all that, and, I'm still in I ended up having to have I was off of my MATs that I used. Last January, I had to have, open heart surgery to replace the valve that I messed up with the endocarditis. So, where am I going with this? Oh, um, in the hospital, they wanted to put me on morphine and all this stuff, and I refused. I didn't want any pain pills at all, so they had to put me on something because we definitely thought about it. So, they put me on Suboxone again. So I was on the Suboxone, and, me and my ex, he ended up being a piece of crap, and now that I look back, I realize that he was on drugs for the last year of our relationship, so I'm kinda glad that he cheated, but, where was oh, when, we broke up, I had to up my dosage of Suboxone because I was lost, you know, I thought he was the one, but he really wasn't, so, I upped it. I was on 2 a day, and, now I've started working down, and now I take a half of one every day, so we're here to now.
Yes.
So I guess that's my story.
I think where you were gonna say that you still work the program or something, and then you were like, "Well, I did, but something." I think you were going somewhere with that. Do you know what I'm talking about or no?
Yeah, probably, yeah, I still I don't work a program, I work my program. My program is working on myself and, coming to your lives. I've been reading the big book, even though I'm not into the steps, but I'm finally okay with checking the steps out and checking myself out. So the the remain I love your kids. The remainder, the rest of my life, I want to work on myself, making myself a better person. And I'm just kind of hanging out, waiting to be shown what I'm supposed to do because I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to help people because of all the crap I put myself through. I just don't know what that outlet is or what my future looks like.
I'm struggling with the same thing right now, but God put us together for a reason. Like it's crazy how too there's some of you guys that were like, I don't even know how you got on my page, like all the things, and like now look at you, like I had no fucking idea, Chrissy. I took 3 pages front and back of fucking notes. I had no clue your story was like. There is no fucking way you're not meant to help people, girl. You lived through some crazy shit, man.
Yeah, and I didn't even get to touch on all of it. I forgot most of it. So yeah, I've
We can
seen and
always we
done.
can do a part 2 sometime because this is just so much. Hold on, baby. I'm almost done.
My mom said I could, if I wrote a book about my life, that no one would believe me.
That's dude. This is a lot. Like, and I really didn't. So, like, now to know you today, like, man, you are so strong. First of all, and resilient, and like you would never know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, you talk about trauma in your past a little bit on the platform and stuff, but like, girl, you have so much fucking past, and I am really glad. I like when you said, um the second program that you went to, the first one was a business and the second one was a family, and that was really like
Yes.
really touched me because that's what we try to do on our platform. We try to be a community and not just
Shut up, it's me.
it's not
Sorry,
about
my
money.
dog freaked out.
You're fine. It's like it's not about money or it's not about recognition or fame or any of that stuff. It's like it's really about helping people, and like really that's all.
Yeah.
There's sometimes that I come in there, I'll go the whole live and I'll have like 50 likes and 2 coins. Like I don't give a shit. That's not what it's about. But like we could have. Oh, hold on, son. I'm almost done. Okay, I'm gonna change you. Go get a diaper. Get a diaper and I'll change you. Okay. So I want a little bit just go back. I have a few questions. So when your mom met your stepdad and stuff, like, do you really feel like that kind of started like your abandonment, like feeling some kind of abandonment, some
Oh,
kind of like mental health?
absolutely. Yeah.
I can definitely see that because I know like we struggled a little bit even with my daughter when it was just us for 8 years and me and her. And then I met my husband and then we had a baby and then we turned around, we had another baby. And I know
Yeah.
that she really did struggle. So I hate that. And I can see how that happened. I watch it kind of happen with her and we tried our best. Like she slept in the bed with us for a while and we kind of tried to like wean her into her own room,
Yeah.
but it was really difficult to do it. And there, like at times I could still tell that she felt abandoned, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
she slept on my chest, like head on my chest for like until I got with my husband, and then like and like and there's
Mhm.
nothing like married people sleep together. It's not a big deal, but we did try our best to do it slowly, but it was I could tell that it hurt her feelings and stuff
Mine
like.
wasn't slow. It was just, "Tonight you sleep here and go to bed."
That's scary. That
But
would be
yeah.
really scary. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, and I'm still scared of the dark.
And
So, 45 years old.
I am too, girl. I need that. Stop. So, and do you feel like the fact I know you said that like you got hit a lot by your parents because of your brothers and stuff. Do you feel like that is probably why you allowed so much abuse in your life, like or played into it?
Probably,
Because you
I was
kind of thought it was like a normal, or you know what I mean, or you were
yeah,
used to it, or something like that. Yeah, that's kind of I kind of thought that as
it
you
was
were going on, going through. I was like, that's a common theme. I feel like it was.
I kind of feel like, I'm strong and I don't give up, so I dealt with all the shit because I wasn't giving up,
Yeah, and like I
which
know
is,
at one point you said like you when he was like really terrible to you and he's like locking you out of the room and locking you in cages and all the things, and you were like, I thought he was testing my love, like like it's like because you're like, I'm strong enough to get through this, like I can see that. I also want to touch on
yeah,
some of the good stuff, like you said you did gymnastics, and clogging and all of the things, like that's so fucking
I
cool.
did.
I didn't know that clogging, that's really awesome.
Yeah, also, in Girl Scouts, I got to go rappelling and spelunking and cave crawling and all that fun stuff.
Hell yeah, that's really cool. And then the doctor's giving
Yeah,
you all the medication, like when you were pregnant. You definitely think that, and you said your hips were out of line too. So you like lived in a lot of pain. So like
yeah,
I can
and
see
I'm a
like
weenie, I don't like pain.
I have such a high pain tolerance. Like when I had my C-section, the doctor was like, "Don't be in pain," like because he was giving me pain pills because I got cut open. But he was like, he's like, "Take them as I prescribed," like and I would not do it because I was terrified that if I took them, if I didn't let myself feel the pain to then be relieved from the pain,
Mm,
that I would forget it was a pain reliever and think it was to get me hot because And so I really tried to
yeah.
be careful with that. I love how when you said like, I can tell that you are done with drugs because when you went and had this surgeries and stuff, you're like, I don't want pain pills. Like I want something else. You know what I mean? So that
Yeah.
really shows like your strength and character to me because you could get pain pills and be
Oh,
accepted. You
yeah,
know
I could
what
have been morphined out for a week, and
I mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
I could still be on pain pills if I wanted. I mean, I hurt every day. I know I could get them, but it's just I know what I do with them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I would manipulate them and get the ones I wanted, and then they would be water soluble again. That's exactly where that would go.
So how old are your kids now?
My daughter is 24 and my son is 22. Big kid.
Sorry, I wanted to write that down. So, do they now have a relationship with their father at all? Is your ex, is he clean at all, or
He's clean. He just went through a thyroid issue. I thought he was on meth because he's like stabbing. He's doing all the classic. Um, there's someone under the house. He's trying to stab him with not, all that crazy. So he dealt with that, and he's kind of better now. But my son, they don't like him.
Nick? You're
I was
funny.
gonna try to say something nice, but they their dad and my daughter went with him for Christmas to get a Christmas present, and then she won't see him again for till her birthday. But
So he just doesn't
he told
try.
me well, he told me when we started co-parenting that the only reason he didn't see the kids was to hurt me because he knew it was important to me because I hurt him so bad by breaking up with him.
Oh, so let's damage the children. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. So they have a platonic relationship with their dad.
That's a good word for it. Well, and how's your relationship with him now?
Oh, I've not talked to him in a long time. Now,
With
when I
your
was with
kids.
Jared, I talked to him one time, and we could talk like we're best friends, like all the things we did and stuff. If we would have been best friends, we still would have been. But yeah, we had kids, and like I wish we could be friends, but his girlfriend is so jealous, and like I'm like, lady, all I have to do is say get her out, and he would, but I don't because I don't want to. I did it twice. I'm not doing it 3 times, so
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to talk to him
No, I meant your
So,
relationship with your kids, though. Have you repaired stuff
oh
with
my
them?
kids, yeah, yeah. Me and my daughter, yeah. So she's the Asperger's, so she's not real touchy, lovey, talky. But yeah, we've gotten a lot closer. Like she'll walk up and hug me and stuff that she didn't used to do. Now my son's always been my baby, so
Uh, like so when you talked about like going on vacation and stuff, and that your daughter, like she said some pretty hurtful stuff to you because she thought you were high. Did she ever apologize or make amends for that at all? I was hoping that she did. I'm sorry.
she'll get ready one day.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I feel like just, not that you don't know this, but just to say like um she went through a lot of trauma. To be fair, it's not like she didn't have a reason to believe it. And I love you to death, that, but let's give her some grace, and hopefully one day she will come and I hope so, at least. But,
Yeah,
okay, thank you so much, baby.
yeah, that's for you.
The robot. Let's see
Oh,
what else. Oh, I know. I'm going to talk about water as your higher power. That's so freaking cool. You talked a little bit about how that happened. You said that when you were in the hospital, when you had surgery, and then they got you up and let you touch water. You want to talk a little bit about that? Go a little bit more into detail.
um, yeah, I just thought like that was the most amazing thing that I'd ever felt, and it was so like something we have in our everyday life. And then I started thinking how powerful water really is because like look at what is it oh my god, Grand Canyon, that was
Yeah.
water.
Yeah.
Like I can't do that. No one I know can do that. And like you got to have, if you don't have enough water you die, if you have too much water you die. So it's like so important that um it's just important to me, and it shows me that there is a force bigger than me, because there's no way that something that has to have perfect balance that works inside of me. Like there's just got to be something else.
Do you
You
think
know?
that it had anything to do with like the guy like withholding the basic necessities from like water from you? So then when you saw it and got to touch it and feel it, it was like you said, like it's
That
something
could
that
be.
is in like that's kind of what like kind of something that I thought as you were telling your story, like because it's such like a basic thing, but you were deprived from it for so long, and like and so to feel it, and water feels good. I know, like to me, even like I love to take showers. That's one of the ways that I like it, grab myself if I'm feeling like overstimulated or something. Like I call it a head change. Like it gives me a head
Yeah.
change. I take a shower and I can get in a good mood. I can get in a bad mood. Like, it can completely change my entire mood and the way I feel. So I definitely think water is very powerful. I never really thought of it like, like this, and that's really awesome. But that was what come to mind when you were telling your story. I was like, I wonder if that like plays in where you
I
were.
could. I don't know, but it probably could. I mean, yeah, I'm sure it all ties in.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Everything's tied together in some way. I feel like all in our stories, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's crazy too, like when I take notes like this and then I'll go back and like reread them, and then like that's like I
Mm,
make connections like that. I'm like, I wonder if do you think too,
yeah.
did you say I don't know, did I hear you at some point, not in this story, but at some point, did you have like an eating disorder or struggle with eating or something?
I do have a weird eating disorder. I obsess over food. Well, I don't get hungry. I've got to take medication called Majestrol to make me hungry. So yeah, I could be under 100 pounds easy. I'm probably about 140 now. If I didn't take none of my medicine, I'd say give me a month and I'm 100 pounds, because I
Do you
just don't
like
crave food.
do you feel like it's because you were with like literally caged up and not have access to food, and that your body just kind of shut that off as a defense mechanism? Or no?
No, because
It
I've
happened
had that
before?
a lot longer.
I see. I just
Yeah.
cut like I was just making them connections, but yeah, I didn't. I don't know.
Yeah, that's some other trauma that I don't know.
It'll come out. Yeah, I really love that
Yeah.
like I don't work the program either, and like, but I love that you said I'm working my program, and that I know you have recently
Mhm.
like got involved with the 12 steps, like not the program itself, but just kind of working the 12 steps and taking a look at yourself and all the things. And I think that's really great. Like I actually have considered myself a few times, like just check them out. You know what I mean? It can't hurt anything. Like,
Yeah.
because that's just the overall goal though. That's what we push on the platform. Like whatever you do, if you think you're bettering, like if you're bettering yourself, if you're really trying to be a better person, really trying to be less combative and more open, better communicate, all those things that we, you know, find yourself in, then I think that we're doing really good. And I'm really fucking proud of you. This is a crazy story.
Thank you.
Well,
It's normal to me.
we have, here you go. We have been on for an hour, so we're gonna wrap up. If whenever you are ready, if you want to like sometime collect your thoughts, and in a month or so when I have opening, come back and tell a part 2, I would freaking love that because you had such a good story.
Yeah.
And I feel like I could tell there was so much more, because you're like me. Like when I tell my story, I literally have to write it down because I will be like, wait, this happened first. Hold on. No, it was like I can't even remember. Like I did so much stupid shit. And you know what I mean? There's just so much I struggle to remember timelines. So don't feel bad.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, like when I'll tell my story, and sometimes I'll tell pieces and then sometimes I'll leave them out. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, not on purpose. I just like it's because I'll forget them and skip over them stuff. Yeah, because it's so
I was on drugs. I can't remember all the stuff.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, it was so much, and I was high for all of it. So
yeah. And when I wasn't, I was thinking about it.
Yeah. All right, Crissy. Well, I love you so much, and you got a lot of love over in our TikTok over here.
I love you guys. Thank you.
I'm gonna switch devices, Nick. I'm gonna go onto my computer, so just give me a few minutes. Let's call it 7:10, and I'll be back. You got Becky Singleton. Oh, Beck is over here on YouTube, and she said, "Thanks so much for sharing, Crissy. That was a really amazing story, Beck. I don't know if you caught the whole thing or not, but it'll be posted later. I'll send you a link, Crissy, once I get it all posted up, so you can share it and with whoever you want. All the things. I love you so much. I'll see you in a few minutes.
Okay, what do I do? Just hit the X?
Yeah.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Run it, ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my year, yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my been ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem damn bad. Gotta keep on chugging, ran through everything in front of me, might smoke bed in heaven, got a whole agenda.